telling this story, and she's like, yeah, but when I was delivering like my firstborn, like his head got stuck in like the birthing canal because it was big or something like that. And it was the way that she had explained it. And I just started cracking up because I knew she was talking about Alex. And so from that moment, I called Alex Big Head. So Alex has been Big Head since he's like been 11 or 12 years old. And it just cracks me up when I think about it. I'm
You
sorry,
know,
man.
I'm glad I have good editing software because I hit record about 2 minutes before you started.
Even I just asked if we were recording too.
Yeah, I think I might have hit record after you asked that. Not sure how that.
How long have we been recording? Crap.
Right when you started telling the story was when we started recording.
Okay, well then that could be a good short about how Alex is big head. Just
Oh man.
it looks like
All
a
right.
thumb on the screen. No. I'm sorry, Alex.
Here we go.
So yeah. Welcome everybody to the Better Bittner Brat Chat podcast. Today we're here with Buddy Bagwell. We're going to talk to him about how military service impacted his family life and life inside, outside, all ways side, everything, everything involving living overseas as military personnel. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to the group here. Who wants to start?
So we're actually joined with Alex and Buddy because we have a very special theme this December. We're trying to include our families and our loved ones. So we are looking to hopefully sit down with Jesse and his siblings. We'll sit down with me and my siblings, and maybe my mom if she wants to come on the show. And we're just going to make it about family and togetherness, because that's really the important thing about the holidays. And if you've spent a lot of time in the DFAC, you already know how important family is, because I would rather be with family than smell somebody else's boot socks. And I've smelled a lot of boot socks just in cafeterias. It's not pleasant. It's great while you're there, but you miss home. So absolutely, we're going to make it all about family. So I'm going to turn it over to Alex. I'm going to turn it over to Buddy, but y'all start, what service means to y'all, how y'all are service connected, and just what's y'all's story? What's it all mean to you?
Actually, I'm going to turn it over to Daddy and let Daddy start.
Okay. Um, so I finished photography school. I was a photographer. And one of the great things about being a photographer is you get to be very creative. Another thing about it is you don't make a lot of money. Uh, you might make $1,000 one week, and then the next 3 weeks you don't make anything. And I met this girl who kind of, turned my life upside down. And I knew I needed a steady income. So I joined the military. And I joined the military in 1982. And I served with at Fort Bragg. And finally, I was medically discharged in 1988. And when I got out, I became a defense contractor. And as a defense contractor, I'm right with the military. One of the people saw me outside and they're like, Sergeant Bagwell, you've got a beard. Are you on leave? I'm like, no, I'm Buddy now. So I was, I stayed the same place. I worked the same place at Fort Bragg that I did when I was in the military. And a position came open in Germany, and we jumped on it because we knew that it was just a great opportunity. And so from 1982 on, we were in Germany. We were there for 22 years. And even though I'm a contractor, defense contractor, I'm still tied in with the military. They deploy, I deploy. When I would just started a new job, I was in Georgia doing all my in processing, and that was September the 11th. And I was at Fort Gordon. We were stationed in Germany, but I was at Fort Gordon taking care of some paperwork and actually doing a system that was going to deploy. And I got a phone call and said, "Are you willing to deploy?" And I said, "Oh, yes." So I came back to Germany, back to my family. If you leave your family and you're in your state, you've got support system. Well, when I left them, we were in Germany. But the good thing is, in Germany, we had a great support system. You become family real quick there. And Alex, I'm sure Alex has told you guys, our house always had somebody staying over, some issue at home or something, and our doors were always open. We work with youth in church, and so the doors were always open for anybody with a problem. But on the outside, you could see that I was not military. But when we were working in the community, we were part of the community. And while I was deployed, we had people back in the rear, which was B Germany, taking care of the family, looking after them, making sure that they had a ride if they needed it. And you become family. And I've used that word over and over, but you become family really quick there because you're all experiencing the same things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how close did you work with the Corps or the Army Corps of Engineers?
Actually, I worked with the military intelligence group with 66 MI.
Okay.
And, and
Did you ever work with my dad? Because my dad was Edward Hiles, but he was Army Corps of Engineers. He was USACE.
we bumped into each other. We did not really work together, but
Okay.
yes, we did bump into each other.
That was my daddy. I'm his guts. That's just me. But no, he passed away last December, and
I'm
it's
sorry, I didn't know that.
yeah, it's been really, really hard for all of us. But oh, he was a fighter. He absolutely was a fighter, and he did finally get his kidney transplant in 2004, and he actually had that kidney transplant all the way up until he passed, working perfectly. So it was over 20 years, that kidney transplant was good. So it was.
That is
He
good.
finally, yeah, he finally retired from the Corps and everything else, and yeah, we lost him last year. So, but that's cool. You worked with my dad. So, yeah, now you can place me.
I have basically the same question. My dad was a defense logistics agency out of the Amelia Earhart building for a while, and then later the American Arms Hotel. You may have run in with him at some point, but he was always actually in the field out in like Democratic Republic of Congo, all over the Middle East, South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, places like that. He'd be gone, for at least 30 days each time he went TDY. But
Yeah, I usually was not in the Middle East unless somebody was shooting at me. So I deployed to Kuwait. Well, I deployed to Saudi Arabia before we ever came to Germany. And then I deployed to Kuwait, and then I deployed to Iraq 4 times. But when my soldiers went, I went. I was there to help them set up. We would get everything going, do the mission, and then I would help them pack up, send them home. And then when the new unit came in, I helped them get set up, get operational, and then I would go back. And then about 3 weeks before they left, I'd go back to the Middle East and help this group pack up and send them away and take the new ones and help them set up. So I got to spend a lot of time there, and it was a really good experience. I mean, other than the fact they kept shooting missiles at us, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, two other people, and the only reason why I bring them up is because my grandfather, he was in the Navy, but then he became a coastie. He actually was in Alexandria when we were in Germany. And when he was in Alexandria, he was doing work on one of the ships that he was actually on when he fought in the Bay of Pigs. So he was working on the USS Shenandoah out there and repairing it and doing like all of the stuff. He's like, I got away from this ship and now I'm retiring to come back onto the ship to fix things that I fixed in like 1962. Like that's all we heard when he was in Egypt. But it was John William Hiles Sr., and they used to call him Shorty because he was short. But he was a lifetime military member, so you might have worked with him. And then if you ever were attached to the 101st, at all, especially in the early 80s. George Mosier, that was my uncle. He fought in Saudi Arabia, Panama, and Desert Storm. So he was
Yep.
in all of that. So you might have run into him at some point in time.
He might have come through our facility, but yeah, I
Yeah.
was in Riyadh during
Yeah.
that. And you talked about him going back to his ship. It's like going back to an old friend.
Yeah.
You've bled with it. You worked on it. You've had good times with it, and you've had bad times with it. So you get attached to those systems, and then you upgrade it and then have to figure out what went wrong. So,
Oh, yeah.
but it never changes. We talk about the sacrifices we made when we were in the military, but the reality is I got more back from the military than I ever gave myself. I mean, yes, I took chances, but those people that I were with, they were family too. Uh, I got a call one night at 12 o'clock from the States, and a guy was like, you should have been paying child support for all of us when we left because you were our daddy when we were there. But I was the old guy. I was an old sergeant, and I took care of them like they were my family. And that's how you do in the military, and that's how you become so much family when you're in this situation together. That's what your whole podcast is about.
Oh, absolutely.
What you experience
Would you like
together.
us to make you a shirt that says "Who's your daddy?" quotation with your name underneath it? We can do that for you.
Why, thank you.
Actually, Denny talking about soldiers and everything. Growing up with Daddy working on the computer systems and everything, Daddy would get rung up at like 2, 3 in the morning when something happened. And finally, like everybody like in the house just pretty much learned the word, just tell them to reboot it and everything. And I was up late on the computer one night. Daddy gets a phone call. I answer the phone, and because me and Daddy sound so similar on the phone, they just start talking to me about all this. And I'm like, did you try to reboot it? They're like, we'll call you back. Then they call me, they call back, and then I pick up the phone again, and then they started talking about stuff. I was like, whoa, hold up. Let me go get Buddy, because I don't know if I'm supposed to be hearing this.
The one thing I remember, and we were all overseas during this time, but during Y2K, okay? Now, during Y2K, my dad, he was so frustrated at everybody. Like, he just, like, my dad, because he was the computer specialist. And so when, I was asking my dad, well, why is everybody panicking? Like, what is this whole entire thing about Y2K? And so what he was explaining to me, he's like, the issue's not what everybody thinks. It's not the end of the world. It's a digital system going to an analog system going into like a digital clock. And so he explained like the programming and everything to me, how like everything worked. And so after he explained all of those things, he's like, and you see, the thing about it, what we are uncertain of at this time is that if there's going to be just a momentary power shortage that could potentially cause satellites to fall from the sky and possibly hurt people, that's what we're trying to avoid right now. And I'm like, oh, like that's why everybody's on edge. I'm like, okay, Daddy, whatever you're doing, cool.
Well, we saw that year come in. We were in Paris as a family
Yeah.
on a bus tour, and the tour guide assured me that he would have me back by 6 o'clock the next morning. And we had some people who were 3 hours late getting back. We ended up leaving them in Paris, and they stopped on the Autobahn. They took the exit for my work. I got off the bus there. A coworker picked me up. They took the rest of the group home, and so we went into work to reboot the computers and make sure everything was working. But that was how we went through Y2K, is just taking those precautions. But it was nice in Paris. It was crowded, but
Actually, we went through Y2K trying to chase down illegal black market food.
yes, we did. because everything was full. We couldn't find a place to eat to save our lives. And there was this little guy cooking out on the side of the road, and we were chasing him, and he was running because the gendarmes were after him. It's like,
He also probably didn't understand why you were running after him.
oh, he knew we were running after him for food, but he was
Because it
running
wasn't just
so
us. There was like a line of people trying to chase this guy down for food too.
Okay. That's almost like the Chicken Man in Grafenwehr. I've actually seen people chase down his truck like when it's going down the road. It's like you see the rotisserie chickens and you see a line of people running after it. I can see that in my head.
Oh yeah, the Henson man,
Yeah. The
the
Hinky
same,
Man.
like the one that used to pull up to the high school all the time.
Yep.
Yep.
Man, speaking of food, that's the one thing. Like since I've moved to Canada, and I know I've probably gone off on this tangent several times on the podcast already, but like I got to the airport in Calgary, and I was really hungry. It was actually my second day in Calgary because I had a layover for a night. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go get some hash browns from the A&W, right there in the food court in the airport. So I go up there, get my hash brown, and I bite into it, and I actually taste potato, not grease and salt. And I was like, oh man, we're back in business. And then the raptor burst through the wall, and Mr. Arnold's arm fell onto my shoulder, and then I ran. But luckily, Dr. Grant was there, and we found the kids and we escaped the island. But anyway, I'm in a bit of a mood for levity today. Sorry.
Hey, it is okay. It has been a strange day for I
It
think
really
everyone
has.
here. But on the flip side, everything we said we were going to do so far, we have set out and we have done. So we've accomplished some things today. So we should be proud of ourselves. So congratulations, guys. Pat yourselves on the back.
But yeah, that was the thing. Like moving to Japan, I got to try a lot of interesting food. Germany, I'd never had Greek food in my life, and the first thing that we had when we got there is we went to the Walkplatz in Wiesbaden, and there was a guy with a food truck, and I had my first gyro there. It was amazing, and that's the thing is there are all kinds of little street food carts and stuff like that you'd come across. Like going around Frankfurt, places like that. And I mean, even in the train station, they'd have like a little kiosk with like these little baked pizza bread things with the green
God, I
and
miss
red
them
peppers
so
and
much.
stuff in them.
Brunavaca. Brunavaca.
Yep.
The best. But so, buddy, the one thing, so you have a little bit of a different perspective, okay? Only because you've worked it all. You've served. Were you a military brat growing up, or
I was not, no.
no? So that was your first experience with service. So
Yeah.
what were some of the hardest things for you when you were transitioning between each stage of your career, so to say?
I'll be honest, when I graduated from basic training, I was more proud than I was when I graduated from college. Because with basic training, it was mental, it was physical, uh, emotional, and again, that same camaraderie. It became family, and we left. I left Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. We went to Fort Huachuca, and my wife and I got married on a Thursday, and we hopped in the car on Saturday and drove to Fort Huachuca for AIT. And my training, and I was an imagery analyst. I was somebody who actually read aerial photographs. And that's really what got me my contractor's job, because I was doing that. But again, photography was my background, and the imagery analyst just kind of made sense. But two newlyweds, my 19-year-old bride, and I headed to Fort Huachuca, living in a former motel that had been turned into apartments, and in school and PFC, making PFC salary. But it was probably one of the happiest times of our marriage, even though we had nothing. Uh, we would be able to buy two donuts, and we would, on Friday night, we would go get two donuts and then drive around the desert and look at the animals as it's getting dark. that was our entertainment. But then when the class would actually come over to our place. We took the crisper out of the refrigerator, cooked up a big batch of spaghetti, put it in the crisper, and then had everybody in my class over to the house because I was the only one living off base. And so we all just became the central point for my class.
Yeah.
And again, and I can't use the word family enough, but the friends we had back then, we still have them now. They're still our close friends.
Oh yeah. You have to make family wherever you can find it. Home kind of becomes where you lay your hat, if that makes
Yep.
sense. So
And I am an only child. I didn't have the brothers and sisters thing, so it was just me in there.
yeah.
But occasionally you will hear about his brother or his cousin.
I always told stories, I called them Buddy's parables, so that I would tell the story, and a lot of them included my brother, and the kids are listening to it, and I do pretty good at telling stories. And then when they would look so sad at the end, and Kim would like, he's an only child, right? And they're, oh, Buddy, they would throw things at me, but so.
It's okay though. Kids are mean. They used to throw rocks at me, if it makes you feel any better. Although I was a little verbal and witty, and we're not going to go into that story because that involves the first time I ever got in trouble publicly or at school. So let's not tell that story. But yeah.
Yeah,
So,
family is like the central theme of my entire time in Germany, and I didn't even realize it at the time because I was a dumb kid. But one thing that I like about doing this podcast is the more that we reconnect with people, the more I realize that people actually kind of liked me, and I was struggling with the early onset of a chronic mental illness, and I thought everybody hated me. And nothing could have been further from the truth. And it's just amazing because I was a little rough around the edges. I was abrasive. Let's be honest. And well, yeah, I mean,
we were all a little abrasive. Apparently, Alex just flat out said, "Well, Amber, it's not necessarily that people didn't like you. You were just cold, and we never knew what to say to you." Because you were just going to tell us whatever was on your mind.
No, that's not even close to what I said.
That's what I took from it, and that was the polite way. So I am avoiding the language you used.
Look, we're using almost. Look, my sister had the same thing I said going through high school. I mean, my sister always had "fuck off" going across her head.
I had stuff going on, okay? I had a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. So, I didn't walk your dogs. I think I walked Matt Luke's dogs.
No, we didn't have dogs up until I left Germany.
Huh?
We didn't have a dog up till I left Germany.
Okay.
I put my foot down. And then my daughter came back from college, and she was going to finish school in Germany and then move back to the States. And the next thing I know, she and her mom are getting together looking at bloodhounds. And she said, "Well, Dad, when I get back to the States, I'll need a dog to protect me." Yeah. No, but yes. And she got engaged, and her fiance didn't care for the dog.
Oh.
The dog didn't care for her fiance. So when they got married, we inherited the dog. And he was a bloodhound and all that goes with it.
I don't know. I have always had a dog. I've always had a dog. Even in Germany, we had a dog. We had Sandy for the longest time, and then when we came back, that's when we got the bloodhound. So we also had, he was a red bone hound. Pretty much the same thing, right? And so yeah, we had a lot of dogs. I have two now. I've got a basset hound. She's actually the one that bruised my face because she's got the short nubby legs, and so I was picking her up to put her onto the couch, and she decided she was going to sling her head back. Well, when she slung her head back, they have that top knot, in the part of their head. It hit me right here, like on the cheekbone. Like, this is still a huge hard knot. My whole entire cheek has been like purple for about a week. It was just bad. And I'm like, oh my word, that I have never been smacked in the face by a dog like this, that's done that. So it's like, wow. I don't know.
Yeah, I was telling them the story. I don't know if Jesse was there, but I was telling Amber the story about the dirt dauber.
Well, I walked into Food Lion in South Carolina with my grandma, and I told the cashier that my grandma beat me. She kind of looked at me funny, and then I had to explain what had happened to my face because everybody's been looking at me like, my God. I'm like, it's not what you think. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah, Amber stayed here when we went to go get food and everything while she was here. I was going to ask her to go to the store with us, but I got to thinking, I was like, I'm not going to Ingles with Amber and her face bruised because then I'm going to get questioned.
Oh no, I would draw attention to you too, buddy.
Well, on top of that, my aunt works there, and so it's going to get back to my mom, and it would be like, what are you doing beating people? Like, I didn't beat nobody.
I convinced my entire family that my mother loved Conway Twitty. My mother hates Conway Twitty.
So does mine.
She's always hated Conway Twitty. I posted like one time, and it was like in 2003 or something like that, hey, everybody, please share Conway Twitty with my mom. She's his #1 fan. Well, then all of my family members, they thought that my mom was his #1 fan. So they started sending her all of this stuff. And she's like, Amberlynn, like every time. And so
you got the bruise.
Oh, yeah. Every once in a while, I'll just ask him, I'll be like, mom's feeling really down lately. Can everybody just send her some Conway Twitty stuff to perk her spirits? She calls me cussing me. It's funny. It's just funny to
Man,
me.
speaking of Conway Twitty, I have to send you guys a meme now. Somebody took Kanye West and put Conway Twitty's hair on his head, and it says Kanye Twitty.
Did you know that there was a Twitty City?
A Twitty City.
Yes.
Yes.
Itty bitty Twitty committee.
I bought my mom the commemorative plate on eBay one Christmas because she's his #1 fan.
So, I guess we have to conspire now to expose your mom to as much Conway Twitty as possible. We'll be the itty bitty Twitty committee. Is what we'll.
Oh my Lord.
That actually, I really like that. That's neat.
I got to go. My phone is going dead. I need to go grab a charger.
All right.
You're good. This is nothing unusual.
No, and see, now we're doing this on a Tuesday. We can edit like stuff out now. So if you need to smoke.
We've been recording for how many minutes here? 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Jesse hits that button without telling anybody. You notice that, right?
Stop doing that, Jesse.
It's so easy.
That's a potential lawsuit if
What do you? Jesse's like, I got editing to do.
So no, like this will be a good short. Jesse gets written up at work. Jesse gets a verbal warning.
we gotta make a short of that now.
Yeah, and it's not 3 strikes you're out around here at Better Bittner. It's like 3 strikes, and I guess you owe us a Coke or Dr. Pepper or something. I don't know.
Oh no! What? Alex and I had the talk yesterday. Okay. Alex, how did our talk go? And you can tell Jesse and everybody.
No, I know exactly how the talk went. Okay, if you had the talk with them, okay, you probably set them down and said, "Now, Alex, when a mommy executive and a daddy executive are disappointed in their employees."
No,
okay,
that's not how that conversation went.
No.
That was more Southern mama. Okay, coming out.
So one of the only other people I know in this world besides my mom, my mama uses this term, and she's had several of these meetings before and everything with her own family. But it's never good when you hear we need to have a come to Jesus meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody from the South will know that term.
The hair on my arms stood up when you said that phrase. Oh my god.
That's what I told Alex. And then what did I say, Alex? I said, Alex, I said, I love you. I said, I trust you. I said, I know you like my brother. I said, but I said, I also have a lot of experience in a lot of areas, and I've worked with a lot of people. And I said, so right now, I said, me and you, I said, I love you. Absolutely 100%. You're doing amazing. But then I looked him dead in the face and I looked him in his eyes and I said, fuck me over and I will end you. And that was the conversation. Just... And then I said, I love you, buddy, as long as we're on the same page. And we're great.
This is for the video episode, so there's going to be graphics. I'm going to animate it, but I'm just going to put this right here, right over here, and it's the parental advisory logo for all the language we got going on here.
I believe in 100% full transparency, and I already told you guys this is Camelot, okay? Knights of the Round Table, we're Camelot. Seriously, though.
But no, I mean, I was.
So you know.
we totally
gotta get back to point here.
We totally got off. No. We got on this whole like high school lunch table conversation here, and
we did.
Look. I told Daddy when the three of us get on here together, nothing ever goes like the way it normally will go, like off completely left field, then come back, and then.
It's the family episode. Your wife in her pajamas, she's adorable. Okay.
She's ran out. She's working on Christmas presents.
There you go.
We got more coming Saturday, so like.
Yeah, Biker Santa.
Yeah, I've got to do that.
Yep.
I still gotta.
Buddy, do you want to join your son and do something with Biker Santa or read a Christmas Carol or something for the kids this year?
You know, I'm not a Christmas person. I mean, I'm a very devout Christian, but I am not a Christmas person.
Okay, so would you like to read Die Hard? You totally can. I'm okay with that. We'll make it children.
Also,
Die Hard for children. I love it.
Also, in the movie First Blood, there's a Christmas tree in the background of the police station, so that's a Christmas movie too.
Bloodsport, Jean-Claude Van Damme. We could do something with the Kumite. That happened around like Christmas time. It could be like the Christmas Bloodsport episode where this is when I get slap happy. And keep in mind, okay, when I start doing that, we do not write commemorative speeches on Hitler. Okay. We learned that story in episode 2 or 3. Don't listen to me. Seriously.
For those of you who aren't going to listen to that episode, see what had happened was, okay, Amber made a joke about writing that commemorative speech in a Waffle House at a study session at like 2 a.m. And somebody among the group was so tired.
Mountain Dew and a Slim Jim. Okay.
Yeah. And somebody was tired enough to think that was a good idea, and they did it. So
exactly. They convinced the entire University of South Alabama because everybody knew that he got the idea from me when he threw me under the bus and told the professor about it. And so when he gave the speech, everybody knew I gave him the idea. So they all flagged me as like a Nazi. And so I had people honestly coming up to me like, Nazism, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't care. Just let me go to college and work. Like, I don't care. It was bad. The whole experience was bad. So I have to be careful sometimes of what I say. But it makes a funny story in the long run of things, I guess.
You know what? This is a story I've not told y'all. And because I got Daddy on here, this is I was 16 when this happened,
I knew you
and
were 16.
yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
So this also involves Rob Bruzant,
Oh, I knew him too.
and I think Daddy knows where this is about to go. So we were on every spring break we did a missions trip to Romania and everything, and Daddy's already like, you know what? I'm not gonna get through it laughing. Daddy, tell it.
Well, we made an agreement that there would be no smoking on the mission trip. And so, we were trying, and Alex and Rob kept going with the tour guide and the bus driver, and they were really good friends of ours. One of them was named Florian, the other one was Animal. And so Florian and Animal would go behind the buildings because they didn't want to smoke around the kids. And Alex and Rob would follow them and go with them. And I told them, no smoking. Oh, no, Dad. No, we won't. And so we were getting ready to go. And so I was like, oh, let me go get Florian and Animal. And I saw smoke all around them. And I'm like, Alex, were you smoking? No, Dad, I promise I was not smoking. I'm like, Alex, were you smoking? No, Dad, no. I said, get the damn cigarette out of your pocket. It's on fire. Florian and Animal rolled on the ground. They were laughing so hard. Alex was patting it down. His pants were on fire. Yep.
So
None of my youth had ever heard me use any profanity until that day. And now it's still the funniest story that they have to tell about any of the mission trips.
I don't know if you remember my mama, but my mama, she worked at AFI. She was a department manager, Charlene Hiles. She got the soldiers a lot of what they needed in Germany. Okay, and she was one of the reasons because she stayed on top of all those pipelines over there to make sure you got like health and beauty. You got stuff that y'all guys hadn't seen in a long time when she went over there because she came from Walmart and she cleaned up a lot of like those systems over there. And my mom, the funniest thing, so I don't know if you remember her or not, but I went one way. I got off the school bus and I went to have a cigarette. Now, I've smoked for a long time, and a lot of people know that I've smoked for a long time. And so we went through like this little alleyway, and like we were between these two houses where you couldn't like really see my house that was on the corner. And I was with another girl, that I had gone to school with. And so, we're sharing a cigarette. Well, my mom saw me get off the school bus and she was expecting to see me come up the road, but she saw me walking the other way and she's like, well, that's weird. And so when she said that was weird, she went to follow me. Oh my goodness. So I'm smoking that cigarette. I see my mom, her head comes up and she's like, she cocks it to the side and she's just watching me smoke. And I'm watching her watching me smoke. And she just says, Amberlyn, she uses my full name. And you want to talk about the Southern, like, fear of God. Like, even my friend was like, Amber, I think you need to go with your mama, like, right now. My mama walked her to her mama. My mama walked me back to the house. I was not allowed to like do X, Y, and Z. She told her aunt like that my friends like mama all about it. Oh man, it was just one of those things.
And
But it was actually that same friend, and it was funny because we were walking home from school one time, and there was this guy, and he just looks at both of us, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to buy like marijuana or something?" Me, I'm not stupid. Okay. I've been around the military community. I've been like through X, Y, and Z. She stops and like she's like, well, what are you talking about? I keep on walking. Well, he looks at me, he's like, well, what are you doing? I said, if she's gonna do that, I don't know her. And I said, I just kept on walking. the guy starts to laugh and he calls me. He's like, no, you need to come here. He's like, come here, like with your friend. I said, I don't know you. Like, I did not want to go over there, like stranger danger, like at this point. But anyway, so finally I go over there and he's like, well, I'm an undercover like officer for such and such and such. And he's like, and blah, 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 blah. He's like, in all honesty, I would probably like talk to your parents or take, you somewhere. He's like, but your friend over here, and he points at me. He's like, she did the right thing. He's like, and that shocked the crap out of me because she just kept walking. And then when she said she didn't know you and she wasn't going to talk to me because I was a stranger, like, just like, nah, I ain't doing this. So it's funny the things we get into in high school, and that our parents try to keep us out of, but we somehow stumble into. And yep, we make right decisions. We make sometimes wrong decisions, but we learn regardless. Children grow up in spite of everything. So.
Well, yeah, I guess if we got a conversation lull here, I got one. Speaking of bad decisions, I skipped. I think I might have told this one already. I skipped school, right? And I went out with Matt and Nick, and I had, for some reason, it just didn't dawn on me that my mom had started working at the elementary school out in Dexheim, and they're all connected. Like all Miss Stockton had to do was type in Paula, and it brought up every Paula in Dodds in Europe. And she asked my mom, she's like, "Yeah, how's Jesse doing? I think he's sick today, right?" And so we had been like to the walk plots. We went and had a beer. We went and ate food, and we're walking past where my dad worked, and I get this phone call from my mom. "Where the hell are you?" And I'm like, "Uh-oh." And she's like, "Your teacher just emailed me," and I'm like, "Oh man, I am so dumb. Okay, what do you want me to do?" And she's like, "You get to the American Arms Hotel right now. Your dad's there." And I'm like, as fortune would have it, I am right outside the American Arms right now. I'll just walk right on over. And yeah, my dad. I was the end of my sophomore year. My dad grounded me until graduation, and he literally grounded me until graduation. So.
Well, that is the one thing, is as a military brat, okay, and Buddy can probably vouch for this too. You're in like really, 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 really bad trouble when you're not just pulled into your dad's office, you're pulled into your dad's boss's office. And in my case, in that scenario, it was Colonel Pelkey. I remember Colonel Pelkey. Very much so. Still have a lot of respect for that man. Yep. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say what I did. Not going to say why I got pulled into his office, but I'm just going to say, yep, still respect you very, very much, sir. So thank you. And smile. So.
No, Daddy can tell you that they were on a first name basis at the high school for me. Yeah.
But his mom was his best attorney. She was there for him every step of the way. And then she went to work at the high school, and everybody knew her from that. But yeah, she was there for Alex. Anytime there was any issues, she was the first one there.
I usually called him on his stuff. In high school, I called him on his stuff for a very, very long time. It was actually funny because I was telling his wife, because I went to Easley not too long ago, and I actually I met up with Alex and Shonda and everything. And the funniest thing, so Alex, I was telling the story about the zoo, because Alex always said that birds hated him and nobody believed him. Well, we all went to like the Mainz Zoo, and there was the bird exhibit. So you had like the cage, and then it was nothing but like the wild birds and everything. And so as we're walking through that tunnel exhibit and I'm standing next to Alex, I laughed so hard. I laughed through the entire exhibit because of it. But as soon as Alex like walks through like the birds, all the birds start squawking and just and then Alex was like, see, I told you birds hate me. Well, one of the teachers, and I can't remember if it was Mrs. Levins or who it was, but one of the teachers looked at Alex and they said, Alex, you're being over dramatic. It's not you. Just, continue walking through the thing. He's like, but it is me. I'll show you. He literally left the enclosure. Okay. Birds stopped squawking and everything else. As soon as he walked back across that threshold, all the birds, he's like, see, I told you it's me. It was so funny. I was laughing the entire time. I'm just like, oh my goodness. I'm like, birds hate me too, buddy. It's okay. We just walked through the enclosure.
That actually reminds me. Didn't you guys ever go on like the 5 countries tour or any of that? I'm not sure what military institution had all those little bus tours that you'd be able to take, but we did.
Oh, you're talking about Sato. So the Sato travel's still like big over there. At least when I went back to Graph and everything else. So you still have Sato through like the MWR and stuff. But I did like the school trips with the Model UN. I thought that's what you were talking about.
No,
we did trips to the USO.
Yeah, okay, it was USO.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to it was the 5 countries tour. I think we did. Was it Switzerland? I think it was Switzerland, Austria, Liechtenstein, Germany, which we were already in Germany, so that doesn't count to me. But and what was the other one? Belgium. And it was like a whole week. We just kind of drove around in a bus all around and hit all those places. And Austria was so amazing. The food was great. We were up. It was in the middle of summer, but we were way high up in this mountain resort, and it snowed up there because we were above the tree line.
Oh, that was always scary when it would snow and you got on the accordion buses down those little tiny mountain roads and you had no clue how they were going to make that turn, but somehow they made their bus like a 90-degree angle and I'm just like, wow, every single time. But it used to scare the crap out of me. I'm not going to lie. But so, I mean, out of all of the places, so we have all been to a lot of different places. Out of all the places that you've ever been in your life, Buddy, what would you say would be your favorite, or what are your fondest memories, and in what place?
I loved Israel, but we had a blast in Egypt.
Yeah.
And it was a great trip. I'd just come back from Iraq, and Kim said, my wife Kim said, "You're gonna hate me." I'm like, "What?" She said, I just booked us a week in Egypt. I know you just got back from the desert, but we're heading back. And we had a great trip. We got to see the pyramids, we did all the tourist things, and it was a blast. And Alex has always been interested in Egypt. And we went into one of the museums and listened to the lady, and she gave the speech to the tour guide. They all have a master's degree in the history. And Alex was like, "That woman was wrong." I'm like, "What?" He said, "That tour guide was wrong." "What do you mean?" And I said, "Alex, she's got a master's degree." "No." Well, I did a little research on what she had said, and where Alex had said she was wrong, and he was actually wrong. So this tour guide got her facts messed up, and my son caught it.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, in a professional capacity, you're always going to want to defer to somebody who's got that degree. You know what I mean? Like that's the importance of of getting an education. But you can't really underestimate the fact that the average person who just has a really intense interest in something. There are a lot of times where, and I can't think of any actual real world examples. So I'm full of, right now, but. But it's like that on the show Stargate Universe, right? You've got this guy, this mathematician with a PhD, and then you've got the kid who dropped out of MIT, and he's the one who cracks the code. You know, like that happens. That happens all the time. That's what I'm saying is like, don't sell you if you know something, and I'm speaking specifically to the military brats right now. You know, like if you know something for sure and you've got the receipts. Like, don't cower away because somebody else has a degree or they're your teacher, and don't be disrespectful either. You can't come at them with the badger face, okay? Like, if you have a calm, rational conversation with somebody about something, and you have the receipts, so to speak, you know, that's a good thing for both of you, you know, because not only are you educating them potentially, unless they're a narcissist, okay. Not only are you educating them, but you're learning about the perspective that caused them to believe whatever it is you're debunking. And that's one thing that I loved about being in Dodge schools is they taught us to kind of operate that way. You know? Not that I did
And
back
for-
then, but
And for those who are very, very, very familiar, to sum up everything Jesse just said in a military way, KISSCYA. Period. That's it. That's bottom line. prove what you say, put your money where your mouth is, but observe things, learn things, prove things, have your own thesis, you know, write those things down. But definitely research things from a lot of different angles.
and especially now with all the AI stuff going on, like don't just say, "Oh, well, the AI said this." Well, yeah, but they have a disclaimer that says to fact check everything that the AI says. So,
Do you want to know why I hate AI in all honesty? Because I watched a stupid video today, and when I say a stupid video, I'm talking about like a goat headbutting a baby that really, really upset me. Not in the sorry about that. Dog he was gonna jump over the laptop. So my dog thinks it's a gazelle. But no, seriously, it was a goat like headbutting a baby. And I'm just like, why? Why would somebody put that together, even artificially, just to, hey, that's funny. Now you're gonna teach young people that, hey, we need to film our kids falling down and getting hurt instead of actually getting our kids help. Like, I have issues with that, but that might just be the female odd perspective of what are we teaching people by what we're creating. Does that make sense? Like, is this good for future generations on what we're teaching them, you know?
I'm going to kind of bring up something that I talked about on the last episode, and this is nothing to get anybody into a tirade again.
Sasquatch.
But this is like something we talked about, you know, the way we all grew up and everything, and getting Dave's perspective about, like, also about how it was for us and everything, because, you know, I talked about we lived in Bishopsheim for a little while and everything right after 9/11 happened. And I mean, we learned things that, you know, and we're told things to do that people that grew up in the U.S. did not know anything about it. Like, I mean, the one thing I talked about was, you know, I remember Daddy going out and checking the car before we got in it and everything, just in case. And so it was, you know, nobody here really knows what that's like unless you grew up like that. So, I mean,
Well, I told you guys my theory, okay?
yeah,
And when we start thinking about, you know, generations of literal war, you see everything in the media, and the media, they try to, you know, they establish fear. They establish, you know, disconnect. They mudsling one another. And it's not constructive. The thing about it is, in order to construct, you have to be able to deconstruct. You know, that's James Joyce right there. And so when you construct and you deconstruct everything, it becomes to the fact of what is the ultimate generational curse, okay? We had the civil rights movement and everything else. Now they're toting racism, okay? I do understand where that is a systemic problem. I see that. But then what I also see, I see a disparity on both sides. And you have to look at both sides of those coins, because if you think about, justice, if you think about what's right, you can't look or acknowledge one side without acknowledging why on the other side. And so, even when I started tracing all of that back down, when you think about war, when you think about, even slavery, that was created by war over in Africa, that was created by war, by the British Empire, by Ireland, by us, even saying, hey, we're going to kick a whole bunch of tea into the harbor. For saying America. With that being said, when you look at that and then you look at the digression, PTSD, okay, post-traumatic stress disorder, even from, a biblical standpoint, if you believe biblically or not, David had PTSD. Nobody can argue that if you've ever read the book of David. And so when you look at those things that are caused by war, even in talking to, the military dependents, those who move around so much, who have those attachment issues, there's a connection issue there. Because what's being passed down generation to generation, it's not as much hate as much as psychological issues that have been passed down in the family tree from post-traumatic stress disorder that have been caused from war. And so that's the generational curse right there. It's post-traumatic stress disorder. And then if you go back to prohibition, it's post-traumatic stress disorder and alcoholism. And when you put both together, and then when you add drugs into the mix of all of that, look at military families. Look at the degeneration of some of the cycles,
And I think now's a good point. I wanted to thank Buddy and all of the other
Absolutely.
military parents that are out there listening to the show. We
We
love
love
you
you
guys.
guys.
We do, and you guys did a lot for us. I mean, I talked about it a
Yeah,
little bit in the Halloween
absolutely.
episode, the little Halloween haunted house, and I mean they went all out. They had like the Nightmare Before. Oh my God, Nightmare on Elm Street section where they had the actor, the girl laying on the bed, and they had the hand with the Freddy claw come up, and Freddy jumps out and scares the kids. Like we had all kinds of stuff like that. Like Thanksgiving, we would I don't even remember where it was, the Sagami Depot in Japan, but we would go. There was this huge like covered area, and they had like the whole spread, this huge buffet, and like all and like the Cub Scout meetings and everything else. Like y'all held it down for us in a way that is just completely crazy. And
And you'll
you
make
know,
sure that we were safe in sometimes situations where we weren't safe around us. Let's put it that way. So we love and appreciate everything that y'all have ever done, every sacrifice y'all have ever made. Another reason why we're creating this network. We're trying to supplement with the VA. I'm sorry.
I have Harriet Tubman on my coin.
wait,
I'm being good. I'm being good.
okay.
We can, well, we didn't get like, maybe we can get Pillsbury like permission and get like the Pillsbury Doughboy, like the hee hee, like when we to censor ourselves, like Pillsbury Doughboy.
I can't speak for the VA in general, but let me tell you, Texas loves their veterans, and the VA here has been awesome. I'm 100% disabled. I have two new knees. They have taken great care of me. It's some of the best medical care I've had in my life has been through the VA. So every VA is not the same, and it's a big group. There's gonna be a lot of balls dropped, but and there's many people out there that are struggling, but there's also those like me who the VA has just been above and beyond, and I do
Absolutely.
appreciate them.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I am not disheartened by the VA. I am disheartened by certain aspects that I have seen within the VA from an internal aspect. I won't go into all of that, but I've seen you have certain states that are great, that are wonderful. You have other states that, what are you doing with your funding? I'm
Yeah.
questioning that. Like I said, my Uncle George, for example, okay, what I found out, and I've discussed these things with him, and it's completely his choice, whatever he wants to do. He's had some issues. I feel, okay, now that's my feeling, my strong opinion. I feel some of them are service connected. VA's not really done much as far as rating for X, Y, and Z. I see disparity in my family with certain things that have happened. And then when our friend Colleen, because I don't know if Alex told you about Colleen and her dad in South Korea, he
No,
had
not yet.
signed all of his benefits and everything.
Mm.
She went to the VA, who sent her to the casualty office, who sent her back to the base, who sent her back to the VA. They ended up not actually giving him his last proper rights. As a result, he was cremated without his honors that he had elected for. That he had said, "Hey, Colleen, this is what's kind of set up for me." As a result, like I said, she's been fighting it for a year and a half just to get his services. Finally, they said, "Hey, we're going to cut you a $400 check," which that's the proper benefit. But the thing is, they never even gave her an option, period. And so when I see discrepancies like that failed her from like the embassy level to the VA down,
Yeah.
that you fight for something, you fought for something. We should honor that. I think back to like Flanders Fields, and every military person, they know the Flanders Fields poems. Okay. I think back to that. Where is that currently in our service in our VA? You don't see it for the retired service members, and it's not right. It's not fair, and it's not proper on a lot of levels. And so that's a very deep seated thing with me, because I think about my family, and yeah, there are some great VAs out there. There are some great veteran service representatives out there. There are some states that really need to be looked into.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Again, I've been very appreciative of Texas.
Yeah.
My medical care was not great when I was in Germany because I didn't qualify for the military medical care. So we would have to go out on the economy. And that was one of the tougher things when we got back to Texas, or when we got to Texas, all of a sudden I started getting real medical care, and them helping me. The first thing my doctor said when he saw me was, "We're going to take care of those knees because they were so bad." And so I got 2 new knees. But I'm sure it is. I'm a lucky one, but again, Texas loves their vets, and they do a good job.
Good. As long as you're taken care of, I'm happy. Just
Right.
just know that the moment I find out that one of y'all aren't taken care of, I will
they won't
rip
be alone
somebody's
because
soul
there'll
from
be a
their
bunch
face
of us.
and throw it at their feet. But that's
Yep.
just me. You know? So,
Yeah, hell nor high water.
hell or high water, I'm gonna make sure you're taken care of some way.
Well, that's part of what this is all about, right? We want to help the
That community.
veterans and people who are discharged transition more easily, and outreach and empathy are an advocacy are some things that we can try to do. I'm not sure exactly how limited we're going to be in that regard, because when you start having the civilian sector sort of inject themselves into the military community, doesn't have a tendency of working out too well, but we're optimistic about it. We want to, at the very least, have community resource centers that basically like a second opinion on what you're tracking to do with what your needs are after you get out of the military, and even if you're in the military. I mean, and Amber could tell you more about those plans. I just know the gist of it because it makes me smile, honestly, to think that that's the end goal here. You know.
So
I appreciate what y'all are doing, trying to help the ones who are not getting the care they deserve. You know,
Exactly.
everybody's got to pitch in. It's a team, just
exactly.
like, and it's a family, just like we've been talking the whole night. That part of my family is not being taken care of.
So on the flip side, so what's the greatest U.S. sport of all time?
Professional wrestling.
Professional. Okay.
My man.
I say baseball. You know, some people say football, but I've always been a baseball fan, and it's just me. So,
Any professional wrestling.
professional wrestling. Hey,
Ric Flair's the man.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. Okay, Pabst Blue Ribbon. NASCAR. Dale Earnhardt. Trust me, I'm as Southern as they come. Okay.
Man, for me, it was Bret Hart. That was my guy. And like that I think it was the match he had with Roddy Piper back in the day. Oh man. And then there was also speaking of Roddy Piper, man, there was that whole like backstreet brawl thing they had with him and Goldust like hit him with a car or something. I remember that when I was a kid. Like I think it was Roddy Piper. Like I remember Goldust hit literally hit somebody with a car. And anyway, that's way off tangent. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know it is, but since y'all brought it up, I have just learned something extremely interesting. So, Sting's son is now coming in with him.
I don't know who that is. When we start talking about professional wrestling, if you want to know how far back that takes me, like in my weird CPTSD ridden brain, I think about Ric Flair.
Well, that's about as far as Sting too.
I don't know who that is. I remember oh goodness. Who was the guy with the like thing on his face? Well, they all had things on their face. He was like a leather
Ultimate
face or something.
Mankind.
Oh,
There you go. I remember Mankind.
Cactus
That was
Jack.
Cactus Jack.
1990 maybe.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Boy, did I turn the whole thing around. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's normally like one of us that does this. But
We
just
hang out for an hour. You are welcome anytime to hang out with us for an hour. You just want to get away? Hey, cool. Come hang out with us.
Oh.
But what are you doing, Alex? I see the ET phone home finger.
oh, I had a notification. Jesse sent a group photo, and so I was like, I was trying to click it off my screen because it bothers me when it's like just sitting there.
So what were some of y'all's favorite holiday traditions? What have y'all done over the years for holidays and Christmas and whatnot?
When we were at
How
Fort
y'all
Bragg,
celebrate?
we would usually have soldiers come over to eat.
Mhm.
And when we were in Germany, we traveled. We've had more McDonald's for Thanksgiving than we ever did turkey. So.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. When we were in Verdun, I think my sister found a finger bone and she wanted to take it home. And my mom like looked at her. She's like, Leslie, that looks like a finger bone because we were in the National Verdun like cemetery from World War I. And it really did look like a finger bone. Like it wasn't a chicken bone. Like it had 3 joints. Like it. She just left it on top of one of the graves, and she's like, "Well, I'm just going to leave that there." But she did. My mama, I still remember her yelling at her. And the thing is, we were very Southern. Alex can tell you how Southern we were when we came to Germany. But the thing is my mama, she said something along the lines of, we don't want any Haints coming back with us. Like, no, like you put that back, like that's a finger bone, like leave it alone.
Hank is definitely Southern.
Yeah,
The bullywoogers, yes.
I've heard bully. I haven't heard bully woogers in forever. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that takes me back. Man, no, no, the one thing that I thought was really cool was, even as my dad being a civilian overseas with us in Japan, our first year there, the chaplains, I think like 3 or 4 of them, came out and had Thanksgiving dinner with us because they knew that we were new to the whole process of, like getting deployed to these different areas, and they wanted to make our first year special. So they actually dropped by semi unannounced. We found out the day before that we were going to have a chaplain over for supper, and there ended up being like 4 of them there. So and they brought some CDs with them. There was this. I remember this CD. It was solid gold, and it was like a microphone picture of a microphone with a gold nugget for the receiver on the microphone, and it was all kinds of like doo-wop, kind of like very like My Girl kind of stuff, and like old Motown stuff. And that was, I feel like that's part of the reason why I sort of clung to music early on in my life, is because of that moment. And that my aunt, my aunt Charla. But anyway, that's we got some thumping around upstairs.
Yeah. It's funny, the little things that make a holiday a holiday. I was deployed during Thanksgiving. I was in Iraq, and I don't really care about turkey or anything. All I really wanted was some stuffing. The dollar bag of stuffing with butter.
Stuffing is the best.
And I looked, and there was no stuffing. I'm like, oh man, this is Thanksgiving, no stuffing. And I really was down a little bit. And then I saw a guy walking by me with his tray, and he had stuffing. I'm like, dude, where'd you get the stuffing? He said, oh, that line over there has it. That stupid little 50 cents worth of stuffing made my Thanksgiving, because it was just the one thing I needed to say it's the holiday.
Yep.
So
See, my one comfort food, and it's weird because we always have those little comfort foods. Like you, I love stuffing. Like stuffing it has to be the staple at the holidays. Sometimes I will make a full like plate of Thanksgiving stuffing with a chicken breast in March. No
Yes.
reason, just because I want the plate of stuffing. So I completely understand what you mean, by the stuffing. But those staples for me, like those cheap meals that just for some reason, whenever you eat them, for me, it's stewed tomatoes over buttered rice. Stewed tomatoes over buttered rice and chicken and rice. For some reason, something about chicken and rice. Those are my staple meals. Now I know some people, they don't like chicken and rice because that's all they ate for like 6 months or more when they were out in the field or the desert or whatever. But to me, that's just always been like one of those, hey, this is a cheap meal, but if I'm eating this, I can feed a lot of people with this. This is home, this is filling, this is food, So
and
totally
actually,
get it.
if you like stuffing, do you like cream of mushroom soup, buddy?
I use it when I make my chicken pot pie.
Okay, cool. So what I do is I grill some chicken breasts, and you can keep them whole or chop them up, but you put that in a casserole dish with some already prepared stuffing, and you just kind of make sure that it doesn't dry out by adding in, depending on the size of it, anywhere from 2 to 4 cans of condensed cream of mushroom soup, and it's so amazing. My mom started making that when we were in Germany, actually.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Me too. Me too. And we're probably a little bit over an hour here at this point. If anybody thinks we should
We
bow out, put a bow on it. What are we
we
thinking?
are, but if we are sharing family recipes, okay? So for those of you guys like me who might be allergic to cream of mushrooms or just mushrooms in general, like it will send you into an anaphylaxis and you will go to the hospital. Hi guys, still allergic to mushrooms.
Well, cream of chicken is a good substitute in that recipe.
Oh no, absolutely. Or cream of celery. You can do a lot of different like cream of soups. But what I honestly like to do with my stuffing, so however you like it, me, I like to usually take like half cornbread, half bread. You can season it yourself if you want to home make it. You can use stovetop. Me, I like the bags of Pepperidge Farm because it's already pre-seasoned.
Yeah.
But what I do is I go ahead and I start soaking that in chicken broth. Okay. Then what I do, and the key ingredient in this, Jimmy Dean sage sausage. It has to be the sage sausage, okay? But you brown that with some celery and some onions, okay? Cook it just enough to where it starts to get translucent. So it's half cooked, half kind of not cooked once you cook everything. You put that in the stuffing mix and everything else, and then you bake that until it gets crispy. That will be some of the best stuffing that you will ever eat. So you can use that mixture, put it in your turkey, put it in whatever you're doing, or if you just like to bake it with your chicken breast or whatever you like to do with that. But best stuffing you will ever have. Some people, they do like to put boiled eggs in it. I don't really like all that in the giblet gravy. Y'all can have that, but I like the stuffing. Okay.
Well, since we're on the topic of stuffing, so
I don't like where this phrasing, Alex. I don't like where this is going.
when we lived in some apartments in Easley and everything, and I was kind of like in the process of transitioning jobs from Ingles to a convenience store. We didn't have any money until like I got paid, and all we had in the pantry was some canned chicken and some stuffing, and we had a couple of things in the fridge, and we had was some cheese, was some just sharp shredded cheese. Well, I was like, okay, I've got to do something for dinner tonight. So we're not, I've got 3 kids at the house. Actually, I had 4 because Sean was there when I did all this. Because I just threw everything together, what we had in a casserole dish, and the kids to this day still ask me to make it sometimes and everything. And it was just, we were just like, had nothing at that point. Like, and I was being that person that was like, I always need, Mom and Daddy's always like, you can call us. We can, but I was trying not to. I was trying not to be that, I know we're probably going to need help sometime, but I'm not going to call and ask Mom and Daddy for help at all. And so it was like, we got together, and next thing I know, it's like, Jace's day was trying to explain how to make it to some friends of his. Amber, you're muted.
I know the dog has decided that they wanted to come in here with a duck, and so they're tug of warring right now with a duck. So I was trying to save you guys from hearing Oliver's song of his people, because he likes to sing that sometimes, and it's not pleasant.
I have somebody that keeps trying to call me, and I don't know who it is. So
I don't know.
It's an 888 number. I don't know who it is, and I'm not answering you.
I don't know.
I don't either.
Do you have a structured settlement and you need cash now? Or no, you said 888. It's not 877. Never mind.
No.
Guys, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. You're welcome.
Absolutely. So what would you like to leave us with today, buddy? I apologize. I think me and Alex, we were kind of making fun of one another there for a moment.
Military is hard, and it takes you away from your family, your biological family more often than not. But you will find very quickly there's other families. There's people out there that need family, and when you see each other, you become that family. And I think everybody I'm looking at right now understands that totally. That your overseas family, your military family, and then there's your biological family. And we've been very blessed, and I don't use that word loosely because I think it's way overused. But we have been very blessed because of our time in Germany and Europe, and the family we made there. Because I still consider those people back there my family, and so that's what I would hope you would take.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And, just kind of to commiserate and to end on that, sometimes in the military community, especially when you're a little kid and you may not understand some of the things that are going on around you, you might not think that anybody out there actually understands what you're going through. But that's another reason, kind of what we're talking about family, okay? Because there's a difference between your family, your civilian family, who kind of understands what you're going through, but then you have a different community there of people who are still out there who understand some of those things. So, always feel free to, if you see us, if you find us, if you have kindred spirits, we don't judge. Talk to us about anything. Write us an email at 3:00 in the morning. We don't care. Okay. We're gonna read it. We're gonna respond. So, absolutely, there's somebody out there. That's bottom line. There's somebody out there. So.
Okay, guys, I'd like to thank everybody tonight for turning up and having a conversation here with us. It was a lot of fun, and let's
And
do it
we're
again.
welcoming Buddy into the family. So welcome
Absolutely.
Buddy into our family.